Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the world's largest pod lights. They're about the size of my head. Let's do it. We had these guys reach out to us. I believe that is Maxpeedingrods. And they said, hey, we want you to check out our new lights. These are 7-inch pod lights, which, you know, 7 inches is hard to gauge what that looks like. This sucker is the size of my head. Let me flip this camera around real quick. I was like, yeah, go ahead and send them. How big can 7 inches be? Size of my head. So, my plan was to put these on as pod lights. So that's the brackets that I got. So we're gonna put them on and see what happens. Before we get too deep into this, I'm just gonna tell you what these are, and then I'm gonna put a link to the product in the description, and then there'll also be a discount code. It'll be C Cowboy, so 2 capital C's, Cowboy. You'll just go put that in on their website for 10% off. But these are the square 7-inch RGB lights, so they're a spot and a flood. They've got like 100 or 270 degrees of field of light. So anyway, super cool. Go check them out. Let's get into it. So I was going to use the pre-wired auxiliary switch deals that come on the 4th gen Tacoma, but these actually come with a handy little wiring kit, wiring harness. So that just hooks to the battery. It's got a little fuse on it, and then over here, those plug into your lights. It's dark. There we go. Then you have this little switch. So the cool thing about these lights is they're like daytime running lights, or they're spotlights or whatever, and then you have a color option, so they're RGB, so you can change colors on them. So I'm just going to use the factory wiring harness because it has these little buttons, so you can change colors and stuff instead of messing with the Toyota deal. So we're going to hook this wiring harness up, tell you a little bit about these lights. So they come with all kinds of cool stuff. You got these little mounting brackets. They've got these little dudes, which are amber lens covers. These ones are the black ones. And then you have obviously 2 lights. So you have this one, and then you have this one. We're gonna light them up, see what they look like. So part of these is supposed to be colored, the other part's white. So we'll get these wired up, and before we even install them, I've got a bracket that hooks onto these. And then they'll mount here behind the hood. We're gonna wire them up and make sure they work before I install them. Basically, the first thing you do when you're working with electronics is you unhook the battery. I found this cute little adjustable wrench. Thought that'd be better than walking back and forth to the toolbox 100 times. So I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna try to put the these little terminals, I'm gonna try to hook those on just right here. Seems like that'd be cleaner. Otherwise, I don't know, maybe I'll put them here. Like I said, I'm not a wiring guy. I can do a lot of things, but wiring is not one of them. So we'll see if I blow this up. Okay, we got these wired up. Got them nice and tight, because you know what they say, loose wax start fires. So, plug in some lights, see what happens. This is a mess, wiring everywhere. But we have power. We're gonna hit this light and see what happens. We'll do the colors first. Ooh, those are cool. Got like an amber deal going on here. See if we can get these to sit somewhere where we can see them. Sit. There we go. Put this in here. Sick. Those are kind of dope. Push that button again, see what happens. Where'd it go? I lost it. Too much going on here. I've lost the switch. Here it is. Oh, that's cool. Shows you what color it is. Ooh, red. That feels illegal. Green. Corresponding color on the switch. Blue. I like that. Purple. Kind of looks weird with the orange, but that's sick. Blue. Ooh, that's more purple than the other one. The other one's more, oh wow. All the colors. Pride Month mode. Purple. Orange. Yeah, that's sick. We'll turn the actual lights on now. Whoa, those are bright. Wow. Still has the that deal on too. That's kind of cool. Whoa, you can change colors with the lights on. That's freaking sick. Those are bright. Those are dope, as long as they don't look stupid. Because they're so big, I actually dig how bright those are. That's obviously no headlights. That's just those guys. So let's clean up this wiring and then put my mounting brackets on and see what we got. We've got the brackets installed. Got that one over there. Those are pretty easy. You just take out the hood bolts. Make sure you take out one at a time so you don't lose the hood position like I did. Have to reset it. And then I've got the switch run through the fender here. So that comes out the fender, and I just stuck it to the dash there. So we got that done. Well, gotta put this back. And then we've got our 2 connectors run to either side, kind of rough. So we're gonna slap these lights on the brackets now. Those are enormous. I can't decide if they're cool or ridiculous. I feel like it's a little bit of both. They kind of look like freaking cop car spotlights, but at the same time, it just makes the whole thing look beefier. Those are so big. Wow. So here's the problem we're having right now. These are kind of just sitting here. They're gonna sit about an inch higher, about like yay. The problem is that hole is not the same as that hole. So, stay. So this guy right here, that bolt is, you know, yay big, and it doesn't fit through that bracket hole. So I have to find a drill bit that is that big and drill that out. But anyway, I figured I'd just put these up here, and I've got them plugged in, so I'll turn them on here in just a second. But those things are kind of sick, honestly. They make the whole thing just look angry. Turn on the lights. There's the amber. So the picture of these being used were not as pod lights. I don't think they're supposed to be pod lights. They're supposed to go on the bumper, I believe. But I thought they'd be cool up there. So here we are. So there's the amber DRL. There's the freaking spotlight function. Those suckers are bright. So just for reference, that's brighter than my high beams, and my headlights are not on. So those are bright. We're sitting in the truck, and the headlights barely make any difference. So it's just a little wider. And the high beams don't really make any difference either. Those are very bright. It also makes the hood very bright. But those are cool. I'm here to tell you that was a project. I got them mounted up though. Ended up getting some extra hardware. Them suckers are huge. So those are mounted up. I'm sure I'm not going to be able to see anything. The lights are super cool. They are definitely not meant for this application. These are, anyway, ended up having to drill those out. There's a whole thing. But those would be super sick, like down here or on a steel bumper or something, which we'll do eventually. But we're gonna run them like this for a second, just to have really bright lights. You know, these units are kind of for people that are scared of the dark and you just want it to be daytime. So we're gonna go put them on the road, see what happens. So we were driving down the road. That is regular headlights, high beams. Dang, those are bright. I have to do some adjustment, and they kind of bounce a little bit on this dirt road. But them suckers are bright. All right, we adjusted them a little bit. So we've got them pointed the right direction now. That little side deal is a little bit annoying. And then obviously, like I said, these are not necessarily meant for this application. So my little baby pod light brackets are bouncing all over the place, but they're super bright. The lights themselves are super cool. So maybe when we get a steel bumper, we'll move them down there, but it's cool to have all that light. So that's light, no light. Daytime, pretty sick. This is from the outside, just the DRLs. Those are huge. It's dark and windy, but we just got back from our test drive and alignment drive, lining those up. So got our trash can in the back, but to get our trash can, but they're pretty big, pretty gnarly. Like I said, those brackets are pretty bouncy. I'm sure I'm gonna end up bouncing that bolt off my hood at some point. The lights kind of bounce around, which is obnoxious, but once I mount them to something solid like the steel bumper or headache rack or something, they'll be sick. So lights are awesome. Put out a whole bunch of light, and then the colors, the RGB deal is sick. So lights are dope. Shout out to Maxpeedingrods for sending us these lights to try out. If you want to get yourself a set of those, head on to the link in the description and you can get yourself some of these lights. They also have like 3.5 inch and 5 inch lights. But anyway, some sick lights. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.